they're all part of the costume and design. And we're gonna talk today about what we do and how we do it, and what we have to do to get a costume working, makeup, appliances, and just it's a lot of work. So I want to get started with design and pattern making, and I'm gonna turn that over to Sarah and let her discuss that with you.
All right, hey everybody. So first thing that I usually do when I'm gonna make a costume, whether it be for potemkin or for cosplay or anything, is first of all, you start with your idea, like whatever your character might be, whatever your concept might be, even if it's an original character or if it's something that already exists. You start looking for reference images. Go search what you think it's gonna be, and then once you've got those images, after that, I immediately go to my closet and see if there's anything I have already that will work for that. And if so, that's less that I have to make. And going on from there, if you have to make something, going to your patterns, you can find store-bought patterns. Some costumes will straight up just have a pattern for that costume. And you just go straight from the pattern. Like this one, Jedi, you've got Elton on. That's something you can just go straight from the pattern that already exists. Some costumes are either not a very well-known character, so nobody's made a pattern of it, or the pattern is really expensive and you don't want to pay for that. So you can get things like this. It's like little skirts. You can make it work. This pattern is for a skating dress. I've used it for a total of 9 costumes, 2 of which were per potemkin. It's a nice little base, so you want to get one of those. And then I have just like a couple of others that are just pieces that you can make work for a bunch of different things with minor modifications.
Can you quickly explain what potemkin is for people who may not be aware?
It is a Star Trek fan film group, and we are based out of Dallas.
Well, we're based in Pelham, Alabama. We're on top of the Hill Mountain, and we have a boathouse. It's no longer a boathouse.
It is the British.
It is the British.
Anyway,
For several different ships. Got five or 6 different.
Yes.
We also have a Klingon ship, which is in his garage.
Exactly. All right. Going for your pattern, you start with your pattern. You see if you're going to need to make any modifications. Like with this pattern, when I made my Starfleet costume, which I don't know if you have a picture of at all. There's one on my Facebook if you want to find it.
I have that picture.
What I did with the Starfleet costume was I took the top half here and made it exactly as is all the way to the waist. And then I modified the bottom and made it a little dress. So you can take a pattern that already exists, trace out half of it, use that to get a little bit without having to just go completely from scratch. And I also did that for a costume for one of the one where I was a Romulan disguised as a Vulcan, that silver dress.
Okay, I don't have
Was,
that picture. Yes.
yeah, that one was the same. I used the top half and I just took this little straight skirt right here, took the top half of this and sort of melded them. So you can make little Frankenstein monsters out of your patterns if you need to get what you need, and you can make them work for you. And then from there, if you have to draw something out to create your own kind of pattern, it's very useful to have a dress form that you can use like tissue paper or parchment paper, whatever, to put on that pattern and sort of trace out what you need and either add that to an existing pattern or go completely from scratch, which I've done once. Very difficult, but doable. Not really my area of expertise as far as making patterns completely from scratch, but I'm very good at making Frankenstein monsters. So, as far as that particular subject is concerned, basically just see if you've got anything that you can already use. If you don't, thrift stores are your best friend, and that's great to find. Like I found things in
And the dollar store.
thrift stores and the dollar store, because you can modify those things too. Like I've got things that I've taken apart from the thrift store and remade, and then things that I've just found straight up as is. I was like, perfect. And
Everything you see on that rack there is either from the thrift store or an online, or some other cheap source. That's our, we don't wanna call it a spare wardrobe, but what we call it, alien life form wardrobe.
Yeah,
Non-crew
guest
wardrobe.
and aliens.
Yeah.
Guest
Not
stars,
crew
an
wardrobe.
alien guest star.
Congratulations, you're our guest star. Here, put on some thrift store junk.
In
They're
fact,
not. Oh, and the Gorn costume.
yeah, I'm gonna pull up your going costume here.
My Gorn costume. That is my Gorn costume. I did make the tunic completely, and then the fabric ended up not being as easy to tear as I thought. And then I made these little gauntlets out of this sort of, it's a sort of like leather. I don't know exactly what it is, but I got it from my church. We used it for a Roman centurion costume, and I cut it to pieces and made that. So if anybody you know is getting rid of stuff, look through it first, because you may find tons of stuff to use. So,
Let me add one more thing. The board heads are available online from Ruby Supply Costume Company.
That's these.
They're not very expensive, and if you order like 3 or 4, like I do at a time, you'd be surprised how you can negotiate a price break.
but we even, those two Gorns became two completely different Gorns later on in the episode,
We did a costume thing.
just by changing what they were wearing.
And then the suits are not Gorn suits. They don't make Gorn suits.
They
Those
were
are
Asian
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
3, Lizard Man.
Two, actually.
Was it 2? Oh, Spider-Man.
No, it was the first one. Whatever one has the lizard doctor.
Yeah, Lizard Doctor
It wasn't the
suits.
first one, I don't think.
It was,
And we couldn't use the head. The head was just a plastic mask like this. And we're like, well, that's useless. And the hands were 3 fingers on this one and
no, they were 5 fingers.
no, one of them's 5 finger. No, not those. Those are not the
Oh,
They're not
for
lizard.
the one that actually came with
Yes.
it.
The one that came with it had 3 fingers on one hand and 2 fingers on the other, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But
Actually, it does, in the fact that the whole point he turns into a lizard is because he's trying to regrow his own arm.
those are Harry Potter gloves from something. Dementor, I believe it is. And you can get Dementor gloves. So this one costume came from her imagination, a Spider-Man suit, a Gorn head, and Dementor hands.
Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, some of the best costumes that
This is
way.
my Supergirl wig. This is a random dress I had in my closet, and these are my sister's shoes.
A lot of times it's really great when all you need is a lab coat. You're so relieved, it's like, oh, this is so easy to put together. All I have to do is this lab coat. That's happened a couple times too.
Exactly.
But it is fun to put things together and make up your own costumes. And I've gone to thrift stores before, or gone to like a craft store where you can go to the clearance section and you can find a lot of things that you can use, little plastic jewels that you can glue on things or sew on things, just jewelry, trinkets of some sort that can add a little, extra to a costume.
We should have brought this one. The little orange shirt that you can see right there in the middle is actually one of my wife's lovely shirts that she wears. And she said, "Where's my orange shirt?" And I had gone to the thrift store and bought a ribbon of something, and I sewed that on badly, just tacked it on because I can't sew. And put a collar around it, put it on the edge of the sleeves, and suddenly it looks just like the Hawkins from one of the classic Star Trek episodes where the mirror. The Hawk, it looks just like his jacket.
And don't be discouraged if you don't have a sewing machine. I've hand sewn an entire costume before.
It's easy to do. Anybody can hand sew a costume. You can even use the tack, fabric tack. If you get the really, really, really fast, hard tack dry, you can wash that thing, dry that thing, and it's not gonna come apart.
Yeah, you just have to be willing to put time into it.
Don't
It's
use
kind of like,
stretchy fabric.
yeah, kindergarten
Been there.
paste
Tried that.
line it up, lay the fabric together.
Well, stretching, when it comes to stretching fabric, even when you're using a machine, it's
Yeah.
different.
It's in my
Exact
stitch.
Ditto with
'Cause
sheer
it just
fabric.
keeps going, yeah, and going.
My Saturday costume, I almost
Cheryl,
entirely chiffon. Oh, it's awesome.
can you talk to us more about the fabric, like you were talking about the stretchy stuff
Um,
putting together materials and picking materials and fabrication?
Sure. Although most of my experience of this is more just from doing some of my own stuff. Definitely know your fabrics. I went through a phase where I was wanting to make, kind of princess theme, Lord of the Rings style dresses just to wear, which takes a lot of fabric. It gets pricey, so I just went, whatever fabric is cute and inexpensive. Well, that's cotton blends. They wrinkle like you would not believe. You
Yes.
iron it, you put it on. Half an hour later, it looks like it's
As soon as
been
you get out of your
balled up.
car where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, it looks like it's been rolled into a ball and shoved at the bottom of someone's closet for a week. Knits are great, especially if you can find them that aren't overly stretchy.
My super
You don't have to worry about fraying.
I
Yeah,
have a superhero costume that I actually didn't even pin the bottom because if it's not a seam that has a lot of stress on it, so like an armpit seam or like a waist or a shoulder seam, you don't even need to hem it if it's stretched or if it's lycra or it's mixed skating lycra. You don't need that.
yeah, and they drape really, really nice. I love knits.
Even silk chiffon is hard.
But yeah, if it's stretchy fabric, you have to do special settings on your, on your machine.
Special thread.
A lot of times you do the special labels or some of that stuff.
I haven't even played with that. I haven't touched it. I said that fabric I haven't touched.
Which fabric?
The stretchy.
Oh, I use a lot of lycra and stretch knit because I do literal skating costumes, and then like I have a superhero costume that's entirely stretch knit, and then I have the one I talked about hand sewing was Gazelle from Zootopia, and that was pink shiny lycra the whole thing, and then fringe around the skirt, and it was all stretchy, it was all shiny, it's very hard to sew, and it was almost easier to do it by hand. So.
That particular material in Sherry's costume there, Sherry's a Klingon demigod in this picture, and that is a dragon tooth pattern that we picked up at Joanne's.
Still
And
there too, if you like it.
my daughter sewed it, and she was like, "You can't imagine how many needles I broke."
Yes,
And
I
I'm
can.
like, what?
I've sacrificed many needles to my
Thankfully, the wedding dress didn't require as many stitches.
Yeah.
He's sewing it all.
Exactly.
Klingon
That
wedding
one there.
dress did not require much stitching.
Klingon wedding dress.
Hole and tied a chain around her waist.
And this, if you excuse me for 1 second, this goes back to what you were talking about. This is a stolen pattern. This is from Logan's Run, the original one. That's Jessica Six's costume at one point. And my daughter used that exact costume and did it with the red, is it called Dragon's Tooth? I thought you helped me buy it.
I was not there when we bought that fabric.
That's the same fabric.
Yeah. Was when we got the fabric for the Gorn and the Orions.
Oh, okay.
That purple stuff.
But it's this stretchy,
The purple stuff of the Orions.
yeah, it is.
The shiny part.
I can't iron those. We actually ended up giving the actress this costume because it's a little too risque for most of our episodes. It's supposed to be a Klingon wedding dress. And my daughter came up with it, and I'm like, okay. And then she says, well, we're gonna have to model it on.
It was interesting trying to film that day.
Yes, it definitely
And
was.
Try not to
don't
show
get us
something you're not
wrong,
supposed to see.
we didn't show anything risque on
No.
camera, but it was a strikingly beautiful costume.
Yes.
Yes.
She rocked it.
And she rocked it, and as you can see from her headpiece, she was really getting into it. At the end of the shoot, she says, "Can I have this?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Sure.
you can have it." But we kept the belt though.
I used that belt for my Orion.
Exactly.
I used the same chain.
Don't be afraid to repurpose stuff all the time. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt there, girls.
My favorite thing with doing costumes and stuff like that is figuring out things that I can either use for multiple costumes or repurpose for everyday life.
Yes. My Andorian, for instance, the jumpsuit I wore that day is an on-screen used Gene Ramirez Andromeda costume. I couldn't find the kind of bodysuit that I wanted, so I just told Tim, I said, I'm pulling this out of the glass and I'm wearing it. And he said, okay. So, it just, the jumpsuit, the gloves, everything worked.
And let me also assure all of you, Cheryl and all three of these women have modeled all of these costumes at some point or another. Like Cheryl was one of the models for the Klingon, what's it made out of? Bone?
Yeah, it's the bone that they use for, like, you see people like in just like general pieces of armor and stuff. It's the same stuff. Yeah.
And we buy a lot of our shirts off the rack, literally off the, it's like the Andorian shirt right there underneath the pleather vest. It's just an off the rack shirt.
Yeah.
There's certain, you don't need to make every single piece of your costume.
Even the uniform top is an off the rack. This is off the rack.
Just a
Yeah, like a regular shirt.
Rywick
Okay.
pattern, and then we have the, just like a regular shirt that you would buy.
Those are really good because they're kind of moisture wicking. It's not as hot as
They do
that one.
clean really bad though.
Yes.
That one, in fact, is
Especially if
a
it's
color,
cold.
I'm
Put a tap
colorblind.
count on your body.
And so when we bought that one, I had bought the wrong color.
Oh, yeah. Or
So
some big
we kept one
band.
extra, that's the wrong color. All right.
Brenda, can you talk to us about, cutting and pinning and the resizing that you have to do a lot of times?
Okay. I'll start with the worst one of all for sewing. And it's because when you get
Yes, yeah.
the pattern for this, they don't give you all of the instructions that the seamstresses have from the
I'm
head of
also
the
part of
costuming
this group,
department. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we got.
This one took about 5.5 months to make with little cinchers. 5.5, 6 months.
And as you can see, it's very seamy. This thing has more seams than people realize. They don't show up. They do better these days because of HD, but back then, when these movies even hit the theater, you didn't see the seams as much. But the front has between 1, 2, and 3 seams. Now, this is the male version. I have female version, and the way these particular patterns come to you, of course, they come uncut like your traditional pattern would, but they come on these huge sheets of paper, like a drafting studio, because that's where they're printed, is in a fabric drafting studio. And so what I always do to keep from destroying my very pricey Paramount, or if it's Star Wars, Lucasfilm pattern, I just go to stable somebody that's got a huge printer, and I have them print me copies. Then I cut an extra small, medium, large, and I put my original back in the case. I never use the original. That saves you a lot of time and a lot of money, because these patterns get more and more expensive as the films get more and more vintage. And so you have to have facing. If that's, for those of you who don't know, it's like a white, or you can get it in different colors, like a fabric that you literally either sew into the collars, the shoulders, certain places like in the banding. Now, a lot of the company people that sew them, they don't put the banding in, but the reason that Star Trek uniforms had banding in here, the facing, is to help hold the pins in. Because these rank bars are very heavy and they can fall out. And so, and they also use silicone backing on it too. They didn't use the metal clips that come with these.
Now, the material on these, this one here, as you can tell, after a while, they ball up.
Yeah,
You
and,
get balls on them, you gotta get the machine to,
yeah, we have
and after a
D
while, they
pillars.
just, they wear out.
We have D pillars.
When I wanted to buy, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
When I wanted to get my uniform, I wanted it to last.
Right.
So I made it made out of cheerleader and band uniform material. It's a little heavier, yes, trust me, it's a little warmer,
I know.
but I know it's gonna last me 5 or 6 or 7 years, at least, depending on how I'm gonna wash it. I'm not gonna be able to have to wash it very often.
Oh, well,
Right.
don't wash it. Use
And-
at-home dry cleaners, either by Dry-El or Woolite.
Right.
That will set, that's why my uniform, even though I've had it for so long, still looks great.
And if,
I don't wash it.
if a
I
band can use
Dry-El
it all year
or Woolite it.
during the
And it's
football
not-
season
Yep.
and competitions and still have it working, it's good enough for me.
Mhm.
I figured that'd be the best material to use.
Yeah, band uniforms are
Yeah.
indestructible.
I
Oh,
will also
They're
tell you,
actually
what is yours made of, gabardine?
No, this is,
It's like some sort of, whatever it is, it's terrible to wear in summer.
That's wool.
It's wool.
this is a yarn.
Whatever band, this
What-
is Sardis
Yeah,
Hill, Sardis City
This is what
Band
you
is
call
what uses this
military,
uniform.
this is what you call military grade. That, in the 1970s, they had called it Guyana. This is actually the lighter weight version of this, is what Princess Leia's A New Hope gown was made out of, but it was the lighter weight gown.
So, as you can see, we've got several of the jackets. You can tell from the white top, the white bands on the sleeves. We've got several of these jackets. 3 of them are made of the material over there, and we've got 3 that are made of nylon.
And that's a 12.
Yeah, that's twill. The nylon comes from China. You can order cosplay suits from the internet. Every single one of them we have ordered, we have had to send over to Dana, and Dana has to, on 3 of them, she had to swap the sleeves. They have the sleeves, it's supposed to be white instead of, shelter. Take a look at all the rank, all the doodads, they're all on the left arm. One came from China with it on the right arm, one of them had it up here. It was just a disaster.
I ordered one from China and I ordered, what was it, the kind of wool, starts with an A.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was. I ordered that, it came in polyester.
Which one?
I put it on and it
order?
ripped. So I'm
That's
like,
that nylon
I mean,
you're
Oh,
talking
it
about.
yeah.
was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
And
bad.
that's not even
And that was
military
$75.
grade parachute material that they're making these costumes out of.
Yeah.
And, just so you all know, when Paramount cracked down on the Chinese, they call them Chinese bootleggers. You no longer get the handbag, class with the ones from China. So any that you buy, you would need to go and get what sometimes they call it a coach class.
Mhm.
You
I had to
know.
order that separately from
Yeah.
another company
Now,
somewhere
you
else.
can get them either at Joann's or Michael's sometimes you can find them on eBay, but yeah,
All
they're
the
not.
jackets that you see up there, 3 of them have the correct class. The others, I had to have Dana, our other costumer who couldn't make it today, repair. And so you get what you pay for, and sometimes you don't get what you pay for.
Then you also gotta make sure you use the right size.
Correct.
Size of the-
Yes.
None of the jackets fit our captains properly. None of them.
And if you're gonna order from China or Taiwan, Korea, wherever, make sure, even if they charge you, go and get your measurements taken by a professional tailor. Because they can give them to them in the centimeters, whatever that they're looking for. And then that way you will get a better fitted costume from the Chinese and Koreans and everything. So,
if you take a look at that picture there, every single one of those uniforms is either made differently, modified, or off the rack.
This one is off the rack.
Okay, the one that Shelton's wearing, touch Shelton, he's to your left.
No.
There he is.
Second one, there I am.
Shelton's is off the rack. It's a Ruby's costume. It's $24.95 on the eBay. It's a Klingon costume. That one was Ann's wearing. Ann, did you help do those boob windows on that one?
Yeah.
They put boob windows in.
It is what it is.
The Klingon females have not Supergirl, it's Power Girl.
Power.
Yeah.
Power Girl.
That's pretty much what it is.
Well, that's what they all call them.
That's what it is.
I think that's why she got married. actually.
Yeah. My daughter made the next two costumes, the husband and the bride. She also made the next warrior, and then she made the demigod. And then Jack has his own Klingon costume. You can mix costume types. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
And don't be afraid that if you make one and somebody comes up to you, Shelton, stand up.
Yeah.
That doodad is in the wrong spot. You can't have two circles next to each other. Show them the doodads on your arm. Oh, you can't have, yes, you can. Please.
You know,
Well, we
these
didn't
are,
never see
these
it
are
that way.
service, time of 10 years each. 10, 20, 35, 36. Because I was 18 when I got in, and now I'm 55, so I gotta have one more now since I just turned 55, so.
We'll get an oblong one.
But,
Get the long
Yeah.
oblong one.
But see, again, it's up to you.
it's
The
your
costume
uniform.
should be yours.
Every Klingon on every Star Trek episode and movie had different costumes. They may have looked similar, but if you really sit and do what us costumers do, we don't watch the movies after we've seen it. I drive my husband crazy because I'm sitting there frame by frame looking at Agent Carter, the movement. Oh yes, there's a scene there. You know, yes, that is a Stetson hat, you know. That's what we do. We look for the detail.
Yes.
And I can assure you, if you look at all the Klingon ladies, especially on Deep Space Nine, you will see that their costumes were similar but extremely different.
All right, I got volunteered.
Yes.
The guy in charge volunteered.
No, I'm not in charge.
This is some of our Klingon armor.
Okay, I'm too fat for the Klingon armor. But guess what?
Does that have,
We don't have a belt to loop it, to close it shut, but
From the camera point of view,
it
It's
looks
pretty close.
great on
Yeah,
camera.
it is.
very fashionable.
And it's armor.
Here you
It's
go.
nice up right there for that Halloween we need.
I'll just hold it.
Okay.
That's one of those harder belts to deal with.
Yeah.
It's foam. And Cheryl did, how many of these? Eight?
Dana.
Dana did.
Yeah.
Eight of them in various sizes.
Well, that was for what, the Between Two Worlds was one of them we used.
No, this is from the Klingon episode, Steve, you're the star of the episode, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
The one that-
yeah, yours.
From where they go above.
No,
Or
no.
The
the
one where
you?
you were the.
Yeah, where they made K2.
Spirit of the Stars.
Yeah.
Spirit of the Stars.
I'm sorry, folks, I produced 68 of these things, and if I get the title wrong, I get the title wrong. Yes, ma'am?
The EVA foam that you used to create the armor, where exactly did you get it?
She had to have gotten it
You
in.
can get it from pretty much anywhere that sells, like, they're basically like foam mats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
The
an,
ones that we've been seeing, they were a lot
you can buy that stuff from
You can get them
Granger.
at Harbor Freight, you can get them at Home Depot, you can get them at all,
And she
Lowe's.
used a hot knife.
$5 for $3 each.
Yes, $5 below for $3
Walmart,
each.
Home
You
Depot.
said Granger?
Granger sells floor
Granger.
mats. It's basically floor mat. It's an ergonomic.
Stores sometimes too.
You see how flexible it is?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty
Or
tight,
wait till a preschool.
but I'm not uncomfortable, and it's not too heavy.
But yeah,
This is, of course, would be a male officer's.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. You wouldn't look very good with a boot window.
No, I would not look good with a boot window.
But we have male and female officer armors.
And, you know, somebody was saying, well, I don't want to have a boot window. Cheryl didn't have one. What did we
Well, I
do?
had, it was more like a foam corset, goes around up to back here, and then shoulder pieces that came down front and back.
Yeah, it kinda looked like a shoulder harness.
But you also, didn't you also wear the black t-shirt?
Yeah, I wear a black t-shirt under it.
Don't be afraid to wear a
these
black
pants.
t-shirt. You do not have to have the, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you.
Yeah, some people want the boot window full view, but I wouldn't
No, but,
unless I wore a push-up bra.
but little bit,
It would be
who,
terrible.
little bit likes boob windows. And so we got a little bit of boob windows. So you can see up there, that's Scarlett.
Scarlett.
Go back
Yeah.
and see. That's Stevie, that's Lee, that's Scarlett.
Kristen.
That's Kristen on the right. The girl is Ashley Cromer with blue hair. Ashley and Kristen are models from Atlanta. They said, oh, I want to come down and be in your movie. This is a Lord of the Rings meets Klingons movie. It's fun. Guess who
Between
wins?
Two Worlds
Yeah.
was the episode.
That one was my first
We do it
episode.
as
We just
the
did-
battle for Middle Earth.
How we doing?
And hook and loop, or Velcro, if you want to call it that, is wonderful.
How are you guys attaching those? Are you using like E6000 or are you sewing it on?
What do you mean, the
The
Velcro?
Velcro to.
It's hot glue.
It's hot glued.
Velcro.
Yeah.
See, the Velcro always beats whatever adhesive I use. for Velcro.
Really?
It's always one being stronger than whatever I stick it on.
There's also that Velcro tape that you can get that's got the adhesive on it.
Yeah, I've used that.
Majority of us our expertise is not quite
Yes.
foam.
Yeah, foam is something we're just getting into, and
Exactly.
Dana
So if you know how to do that and you wanna help us,
yeah,
Yes.
but Dana,
Contact cement.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, take
Water,
off some,
yeah.
take off some of the texture off it,
Mhm.
take off that shiny finish.
Mhm.
Contact cement the back of your Velcro and that, let it sit for 10 minutes and then stick it on, it works.
Yes,
It's
it does, it
impossible
works
to
great.
tear apart.
Yeah, you can't get that
oh
stuff
yeah,
on.
I've used it before, not on costuming, but stage crew, but
Mhm.
anyway, does anyone have any other questions for any of us?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shoes and boots.
you
I've been
said-
looking for like a Star Trek, and I'm looking up dress boots.
Mhm.
Come close, but they don't go above the ankle. most
So
of the
you're
time.
wanting the ones that look more like the, original series?
Yeah.
Okay, the same supplier